Bhagavatam class. That's what Prabhupada, what the Bhagavatam says. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivardhari Gopijana Balaba Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Somebody could play the cartels. If somebody would be so kind to assist me in the kirtan, these cartels. Very happy. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. God love you for that. That was a good idea. You got me nice harmonium. Good boy. I pray for you today. You may get 100 years old with many children. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate, my bag, Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to glorify Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead today. So, I read the verse, and we do it short because I have an engagement later on in the day and I can't spend too much time. I just read the verse to you. Yaso maya vidita tatvadresha sabayam. You can repeat, you have it there, right? It's 15, as far as I know. Isn't it? Can you put something behind my back here? Yes, it's 15. Yaso maya vidita tatvadrisha sabhayam. Hello, good morning. Triptodrukti vishikhaya viganyaya tanmam. Alvakpatantam arhatama nindaya pat. Rishyad sa bhagavan svakritina tushed. Since we are today short in time, I will skip the word-for-word translation and come to the translation by Srila Prabhupada. I did not know your full glories. For this reason, I threw arrows of sharp words at you in the open assembly, although you did not take them into account. I was going down to hell because of my disobedience to you. Was the most respectful personality, but you took compassion upon me and saved me by awarding punishment. I request that you be pleased by your own mercy, since I cannot satisfy you by my words. Srila Prabhupada. As usual, very important, the verse, as usual, it is usual, it's this general standard, in other words. As usual, a devotee in an adverse condition of life accepts such conditions to be the mercy of the Lord. That's a very important sentence. I would like to talk on that sentence there, that this is actually the attitude of an advanced devotee. Following the verse in Bhagavad Gita, Yumam Pashyati Savatra Savam Chamai Pasyati Tasyam Na Pranashyati Sacham Na Pranashyati. Okay, here we are. And that is one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. I'm never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. Srila Prabhupada gave a perfect example of that. In his last moments, and I was fortunate to be there, he said, he lifted his hand very slowly, and he had already difficulties breathing. Huh? What? I can't hear anything. I mean, I can hear only 10% here and 30% there. Almost deaf here. It's called old age. He knows that. He always speaks into my left ear. So be closer to the microphone. So, last thing Prabhupada said, he lifted his hand very peacefully. I was surprised actually, because he was already... Have you seen somebody die? You know when it's coming, right? You have to see it only one time. You have to see that only one time. And you know when somebody is dying, immediately, you know. So he was in that stage of guru. It's called in Vedic Ayurveda, guru, not guru, good means it's the last stage of life. And he lifted his hand very peacefully, and took him about 5 minutes to say the following words. That's at the time, verge of death. When people think of all kinds of things. Like there was one businessman, famous businessman in Calcutta, I was told. And what was his last words? Paneer. And then he died. Funny. And then he died. And people utter something about their girlfriend. And all kinds of mundane things, you know. And so Prabhupada said this because he sees Krishna everywhere and sees everything in Krishna. Human pasyati sabha, even suffering. And that's an important point here, the salient point this verse is getting to. That he said, everything moving and non-moving, there's nothing but God. There's nothing but Krishna. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. I mean, if you want to have a direct experience of Krishna, all you have to do is sit down somewhere and just listen. And everything you hear is nothing but Krishna in his material manifestation. Some bird sings, some car drives by, some planes flies in the sky. If you think about it, there's nothing but Krishna. You actually experience Krishna at every moment because there's nothing but Krishna in the ultimate issue. There's only one living being in the ultimate issue, and that's Krishna. We are taught from childhood on, particularly in church, that God is up there and we are down here. But we know when Krishna comes, God is everywhere. And there's nothing but God. And that there's only one living entity. I will read this to you, and Prabhupada elaborates on that. So in the material world, when there's suffering, then ordinary human beings see suffering outside of the jurisdiction of God. I think there's nothing to do with God. You know? And consequently, they cannot explain why people suffer. Because if you understand that everything is in the jurisdiction of God, then you also try to find out, now, how is it in the jurisdiction of God, the suffering of the world? And so if you inquire, Krishna gives the answer. How everything is in the jurisdiction of God. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, he says, Kamana Deva Netrina, that everybody suffers under my supervision. Kamana Deva Netrina Deva, under my supervision, everybody suffers his karma. There it is. It's right there in Bhagavatam. You know, Krishna is, without Krishna, there's no happiness, no distress. Everybody reaps what he sows at every moment. And our present life is really the situation of our present life that we are experiencing is nothing but a replay of our karmic situation from the past. It sets the scene on which we are acting according to our past life. And so therefore we have to understand that the presence is Krishna's arrangement for us. Whatever the situation may be, it may be in happiness, it may be in distress, it is all Krishna's arrangement. And therefore, in the ultimate conclusion, we have to love what is, understanding that that's what God gives me. That's what I have on my plate. And I have to bite the bullet. Rather, oh, Krishna, why you give me suffering? Take this suffering away. No, he's giving it. He's giving it, and he gives pleasure. Prabhupada gave the example. I said this yesterday, the other day in class. Oops, how did I get... So Prabhupada said that when a man tries to train a tiger, yeah, first he feeds the tiger, huge feast. The tiger said, oh, he's my friend. He feeds me. Then the man goes away, the same man that makes the tiger feast. He makes the tiger fast. And the tiger is going crazy. Why did this happen to me? Then the same man comes and feeds the tiger a feast. 7 feast. The tiger thinks, it's really my friend. Then he goes away the same man and fasts him. And so fasting and feasting, by the end of the day, the tiger will eat out of his hand. He will never bite him because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Right? Is that true? So in this way, we are trained by Krishna to come to Krishna consciousness through a series of happiness created by Krishna and suffering. You know? It is better to learn by hearing. That is better than learning by experience. My father used to say in old German, 15th century German, "Wusst du nicht lernen, benutzt, benum, then musst du lernen, benutzt, benum." This is a 500-year-old German. And he said, if you don't want to learn, bonus bonum bonum, it's Latin. If you don't want to study, right, then you have to learn how to put a horse into the cart, put a horse from one cart into the other, or put the horse, change horses all the time. In other words, you have to go to the plow department. You have to learn by experience, by the bitter experience. This is the situation. And so the problem is that people see suffering as outside of the jurisdiction of God. That is a mistake. That Krishna appears to a devotee, to everybody, in the form of happiness, in the form of distress. And we have no difficulty whatsoever if somebody comes with a big Maha plate. Our assessment will be correct. We say, that is Krishna's mercy. Just see how Krishna is merciful. Right? Do we have a problem with that? No. Everybody, you get something. Oh, this is Krishna's mercy. Right? Then Krishna, same Krishna comes in the form of suffering. You say, oh, you don't see the Krishna connection. You know? You say, why is this happening? Why do you do this to me? Why do you kick me? But Prabhupada said, if you point your finger, 3 fingers point to yourself, because you're the cause of that. The person who kicks you is just the instrument of your own karma by Krishna's arrangement. This is how that works. It's just the instrument of our karma. So we do not see in Krishna consciousness suffering as being outside the jurisdiction of God. We know that's one part of it. Because we don't really learn by hearing. If you learn by Shastra, Prabhupada said that. He said, accepting the suffering in our life as being given by God, that's a secondary way of learning. Second, what is the first way of learning? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. If you serve God, then this suffering even doesn't come to you. Aham tvam sava papaviyo. This is how you avoid suffering. In the first class way, you just turn to Krishna. And he will prevent you from all that. But if you don't, then you have to learn the hard way by suffering. I know a story was told to me by one devotee. There was a man, a potter, a person who makes pots. And he walked in the forest and he found a hole. Somebody had digged a hole and he looked down this hole and said, that looks like clay. And he went down there and he found the most perfect clay. Like when you apply your Gopi Chandan. If there's a little grain in it, it pains in your hand when you make it. If there's no grain, if it's smooth, that's perfect. Gopi Chandan, right? So he found clay, it has no grits in it, it's perfect clay. So he took some clay home and he started pounding it to get it ready for the process of making a pot. And to his surprise, the clay started talking. He said, why you do this to me? That hurts. Please stop this immediately. I can't bear it anymore. The potter said, not yet. Then the potter put this pot on a turntable and started making a pot like this, you know. That's how that works, you know. He drives it with his foot. And the clay pot, the pot was screaming, the clay, why are you doing it? I'm getting dizzy. Please stop this right away. Not yet. And he puts him into a stove, and it was burning hot. And the pot was screaming. Whatever it was, screaming. He said, please, please, please let me out. I can't bear it anymore. And he saw through the hole the potter's lips saying, not yet. Then Potter pulled him out and was very cool. Then he took paints and painted him, and it was very painful to the skin. He said, please stop, I can't bear this, it's very painful, stop. And the man said, not yet. Then he put him into a stove that was 10 times higher to burn the glazour, right? 10 times higher, it's the highest. And the pot was almost getting unconscious, screaming in pain. Then he saw the lips, not yet. But after some time, the door opened, the potter would take the clay out and put the cup, it had become a cup, on the shelf. It was very easy, very pleasant. Then the potter took a mirror, and the cup said, oh, I didn't know that I'm so beautiful. And the potter said, yes, that's what it takes to be beautiful. And so you understand the analogy. Krishna is the potter and we are the clay. And he runs us through all kinds of difficulties. Look at Haridas Thakur. Look at Jesus. All kinds of, even highly placed Srila Prabhupada. He suffered so much. But that's what it takes ultimately. You know, this is to resurrect in the true sense the soul to its original pristine state as being a perfect soul in the hands of the Supreme Potter, that whatever you do, Krishna, I will do. Tell me what to do. Like Arjuna. In the beginning, Arjuna had arguments. He was not ready. He didn't want to fight. Why didn't he want to fight? Because these were his friends, his kinsmen on the other side. And Krishna says, how can these impurities come upon you? One must wonder, because he had a sense of compassion for his relatives. Why is this an impurity? Isn't it? Isn't it strange that Krishna... Because if you are a policeman, right, and you see your uncle is breaking into a shop, you cannot say, well, that's my uncle. You have to arrest him. Otherwise, the chief of the police will say, how can this impurity come upon you? The uncle is doing some criminal. Never mind the uncle. Forget about these sentiments. They're nice. Krishna said, I understand that. That's nice, compassion for the relatives. But you are a Kshatriya, and therefore they are unjust. They steal the land. Those who steal the land, 6 aggressors, according to Vedic scriptures. One of them is, he steals the land, he must be killed. So Arjuna was, out of personal consideration and sentiments and mercy, but it was foolish mercy. There's mercy and foolish mercy. He was foolishly merciful, you know. and so he refused. And so Krishna, at the end, after Krishna tells him everything, Arjuna says, now, my Lord, I understand. You know, I'm your disciple, surrender soul to you, whatever, by your mercy, he said, by your mercy. Listen very carefully, every word is important. By your mercy, I've regained my memory. And now I will fight. So in the same way, we want to regain our memory by the mercy of Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, we will regain. And what is that memory? That we remember ourselves for what we are, because people have forgotten who they are in the material world. They don't have forgotten that they're souls. So if you have forgotten who you are, then you try to be somebody else in the material world, right? Forgotten who they try to be somebody else. And therefore you have different fashions, people dress themselves differently, people have this hairdress, that hairdress, this hairdress, any type of hairdress, because they try to find an identity, because they've forgotten their actual identity as souls. It's so important to understand that mankind is in a tremendous identity crisis. That's the problem. They don't know who they are. Nata vidi, nor do they know what is the goal of life. Nati vidu swarta gate me Vishnu. That Vishnu is the goal of life. Nobody knows. Hardly anybody. So a devotee accepts conditions of distress as, listen very carefully what I say, it's profound. It's not what I say. My opinion is nothing. But this is what Prabhupada says. It's not a matter of your opinion, my opinion, anybody's opinion, the King of Prussia's opinion. It's Prabhupada's opinion. And he says, when a devotee is in distress, he accepts that distress has appeared to him as is but another form of Krishna. That's what Prabhupada said so wonderfully. It's but another form of Krishna. If we understand that, then we can bear indignity. We can bear this is how Krishna comes to me. And distress becomes actually an asset. It becomes an asset. I'm sitting here, I tell you the truth, because I suffered. And many of you, you came to Krishna consciousness because you suffered. You were not happy, you were not satisfied. The fools are enjoying, they think we're okay, I'm okay, you're okay, let's drink. Let's enjoy, tomorrow die, it doesn't matter, there's no life after death. Right? They're happy, but their happiness is fake. It's fake because at the time of death, they will realize that it is fake. My whole life is fake. I lived a fake life because I lived as a body. I lived a lie. That is the situation of the materialists in the material world. They live a lie. That I'm this body. It's a lie. And their whole existence is based on this false foundation of the body. And whatever they do, they may be great, this, that, scientists, philosophers, it's all based on the foundation of the body, and therefore it is wrong. It is a lie. All their lives they will be defeated in due course of time, by time. That's why Krishna says, time I am destroyer of the worlds, by time. The only thing that will stay is Krishna, and the teachings of Krishna and the teachings of the perfect spiritual master, that will stay. And everything will be turned out for what it is. It is simply illusion. And Prabhupada, he told us, second last thing he said, I told you the last thing he said, the second last thing, he said that somebody gave him medicine. And Prabhupada asked him, did you close the bottle? He asked the servant, did you close the bottle? And the servant said, no, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, that is your disease, all of you. You know how to open bottles, you don't know how to close them. You start so many things. You start with so many new things. And you don't see the consequences. I mean, this is what in ISKCON we are experiencing, so many new things. There's in certain areas of the world, there's a complete mission shift away from the desire of Prabhupada. We start so many new things, you don't see the consequences of it. Humanity at large. Is there anybody who knows how we can solve the environmental crisis on the planet? Is there anybody who can tell me how we get back to a pristine environment? The rivers are polluted, the oceans are polluted, the air is polluted, the bodies are polluted, the food is polluted, everything is polluted, the airwaves are polluted, the internet is polluted, everything is completely toxic. How do we get back to the pristine stage? Nobody knows. No, not one person knows. And I don't know either. And I don't even understand why it is so. Why we got here, I understand why, because we're opening bottles. Let's open this bottle, that bottle, that bottle. Scientists opening bottles all the time. But they don't know how to close them. That's the thing. Because they live a godless life. In God consciousness, we don't open bottles. We stick to Prabhupada's instructions and to the instructions of the acharyas, because every opinion outside of the opinion of the spiritual master is worthless. You become asara if you follow the opinion of your own mind. And that's what people do. The misguided intelligence of a human being makes you to use your senses and your mind in nefarious ways that have nothing to do with truth. It's a misguided intelligence. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one who reads this dialogue, he worships me with his intelligence. That's what it is. He uses intelligence in Krishna's service instead of using his intelligence for material progress. What everybody else is doing since time immemorial, since the time of Adam and Eve. The instruction was, don't eat from this tree. If you eat from this tree, you're in trouble. So they opened the bottle right there, and they ate from this tree. Why? Because the snake, if you understand the biblical history, the snake tells them that if you eat from this tree, you become as good as God. That's by the end, that's the ultimate desire to become as good as God. The ultimate snare of Maya. Maya, Vard philosophy. You become as good as God. They fell for that. And it's not Adam and Eve, some historical persons in the past who did that, who ate from the forbidden tree. It's you and me. There has never been a history of Adam and Eve. They're not historical persons. It describes your downfall and my downfall accurately in the material world. There's a little envy there of Krishna. Jealousy. I don't know where that comes from actually, but there is. We have the opportunity to live with Krishna or without Krishna. So if we want to live without Krishna, then we are calling for trouble. If we live with Srila Prabhupada, we are safe. There's one time my godbrother, Satadanya Prabhu, he told me that one time in the beginning of our movement, sitting together, and Satadanya Srila Prabhupada, the Ganga is rising. The Ganga River is rising, but it cannot touch our property. Prabhupada said, why is that? He said, but because of Bhaktisiddhanta's road. Bhaktisiddhanta built a road all the way from the trunk road. There's a trunk road coming out of Calcutta all the way to the source of now, to the north. And there's a little road going, and it's like a dike. It's built very high because this area is always flooded by the Ganga. So he told him it cannot come because of Bhaktisiddhanta's road. And then Prabhupada made this wonderful statement. He said, put his fist he said, that's right. As long as we stay on Bhaktisiddhanta's road, we are very safe. And if you go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, we are lost. We fall into the water. So that chastity, to stick to our instructions in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, words of the acharyas, that is saving is the only thing that saves us. That's the saving grace of the Guru, is there if you follow him. If you follow him, how can Prabhupada help you? How can Prabhupada help us if you don't follow him? You can follow a child, tell the child, don't do that, do that, do that, do that. If he follows, you can help him. If you say, well, I don't care, how can he help you? And so we are like this. We are orphaned in the material. We are orphaned by our materialistic mentality to do it my way, rather than trying to understand what is Krishna's way, what is Krishna for me in stock. And suffering is a cure. It's actually a cure. This is how Krishna comes to us in the form of distress to purify us from this mentality of so-called independence, a fake independence, while we are in the hands of God, 100%, at every moment. So people, materialistic people, see suffering always. They cannot explain why people suffer. You ask the Christian, you ask the Pope. The Pope was asked, the Roman Pope was asked, there was a tsunami in Japan, and he had a Zoom conference. This is not a Zoom, it was a teleconference at that time. Somehow the Italian television allowed so many people to call in, and one girl said, Holy Father. She was a Christian, Elena. Means she's a Japanese girl I could see, and it was like that, you know. The Japanese said, but Elena means she's a Christian. Elena is a Christian name. Said, Holy Father, you know God. Why are all my friends dead? They said, I thought the same thing, I don't know. There you have it. We know Kamara Divinachana, we know that everybody reads for his souls. We know that the last life is just the basis of this life. We know that because we have knowledge. But if you say there's only one life, that means you have no knowledge. You can't understand anything. Why things are happening? Why are bad things happening to good people? The answer is because the good people, they're not exactly good. They're not really innocent. And nobody in this world is innocent. Not even a child is innocent. Not even a child. That we have to understand. Everybody eats his own soup. You eat your soup. I'm eating my soup. He's eating his soup. That's the material life. And only if we switch to Krishna and said, Krishna, you're my only hope, you're my only shelter. There's nobody else who can save me. Then, if we take shelter in Krishna, Krishna says this, Machita, if you direct your consciousness towards me, Machita means my consciousness towards, then, Machita Sarva Durgani, all difficulties that come from material nature, under my control. Mat Prasaram, by my mercy, Tadrishasi will be destroyed. There you have it. By my mercy, the difficulties of material life will be destroyed. So for that mercy we have to ask. That we have to ask for, my dear Lord Krishna. Please, even in little things, allow me to chant properly. Because nobody in this world, according to Haridas Thakur, can chant the holy name properly without Krishna's mercy. Nobody. Haridas Thakur says in Hanam Chintami, nobody in this world is able to chant without distraction, without the mercy of God. Therefore we have to pray for that mercy. And nobody will be able to solve his problems in this material world without the mercy of Krishna. Therefore we have to ask for this mercy. And therefore we worship the spiritual master, because by his mercy, blind men can, laymen can cross over a mountain, foolish man can become a speaker, blind man can see the stars in the sky by his mercy. That's why we say his divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, by his grace. One can cross, we say every day, by his grace we can cross the ocean of material suffering, obtain the mercy of Krishna. It's right there, isn't it? Mataji, is that true? By his grace we can cross. There you have it, that element of grace. Not by our own doing. We have to do our best. Then Krishna will do the rest. That's the formula. Very simple. So I want to finish here. Like we have an engagement soon. Do you have any questions? Does it make sense to you? Mataji? Could you hear what I was saying? Yeah. Does it make sense to you? Yes, it makes sense. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Hello, my friend. You have seen you before. Nice to see you. Krishna is blessing you. You know, I'm really hard of hearing. I hear almost nothing, the doctor said, here, on this ear.
Okay.
And I hear, well,
I
that's
should
the
stop
hearing
this.
capacity.